Good day, Dr. Pete.
Hey, Jennifer, good to see you today.
I am so glad you have joined me today so that I get the opportunity to understand more about you and how you've evolved with your ChiroCEO and Revelation Chiropractic Health Center business and so forth. And I love the fact that you're a co-founder and you're an owner. So you're an entrepreneur, but you think like a CEO.
Mhm.
And in today's world, we have to know, and I was also looking up about you, and I don't mean to talk too much because I want to hear from you, but is that you studied not only chiropractic, but occupational therapy and some other, from the, a little bit from the medical model. So you have the therapy background, and so that you're really hands-on for all sorts of clients of yours in the office, and it's great to direct your one of chiropractic too, in the real straight sense. So I'd love to hear from you in terms of how you got started. Like, I don't even really know, like, where did that passion come from?
Oh man, wow. I didn't know we were going to dig back into my history. This is really cool. So I had a brother growing up. His name is Jonathan, and he was sick a lot. He had many different health conditions, and we treated it allopathically for the majority of the time. And there was a time when things just got worse, and my parents actually brought him to the Gerson Institute in Tijuana, Mexico. And I think that really opened our eyes as a family to natural health care, to what we would call alternative, which for me is not the alternative. The other path is an alternative to the mainstream, which is natural health care. And so we went that path. This was back when I was in high school. And so I watched my brother go through the Gerson protocols, and we did the juicing, and we were doing chiropractic care, and we were doing the supplements. And this was a very different approach than what we had done up to that point. And my brother he got well. His improvements, were dramatic. And as a result of that, that really stimulated me to have a desire to help people, but do it in a more natural way. And so I was going the medical route, acupuncture, physical therapy, OT kind of route. And
Hmm.
so I ended up probably halfway through my OT schooling, and I was in a program. So I finished that program, but my heart really and my vision really moved towards chiropractic. It moved towards this concept of what we now know as vitalism, right? This looking at a whole person and treating a whole person, which was very much in alignment with my occupational therapy training, which was looking at a whole person. You were looking at somebody not mechanistically, but holistically. You were looking at the whole person when you looked at someone who needed to have training on bedside, commode, or how to, put on their socks and shoes again. When you're training them, you're thinking about their whole person. So I love that about the occupational therapy profession, which I think was a really great setup for me coming into chiropractic. So my brother's transformational story, and then my experience in the occupational therapy field, then getting into chiropractic, really was for me just a really clear stepping stone. It was a personal story, my own professional experience in the medical space, seeing the need for prevention. Because all of my patients that I took care of as an occupational therapist, especially working in subacute rehab centers with people who had had strokes and hip and knee replacements and things like that, most of those people, if not all of them, never wanted to be there and actually said they didn't plan to be here. And so if you don't have a plan and you don't have a desire and you end up somewhere, then there's a reason you're there, and it's because of ignorance. And so what I thought was, what if we could teach people how to prevent these things? I'm not saying 100% of strokes and hip and knee replacements are preventable, right? I think we all can agree that our bodies are finite. There's a certain amount of time we get with the bodies on this earth. But there was a lot of young people and very frustrated people that things were preventable. And as I've learned as a chiropractor now about, all the other chronic diseases, the top diseases, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, these are all preventable diseases. And I've been working for over a decade, transforming people's lives with these conditions, reversing these conditions, helping people heal from these conditions. So my approach to chiropractic is very principled, but it's very holistic. And I look at the 3 T's, traumas, thoughts, and toxins. You cannot escape those. And in today's day and age, you have to be attentive to all of the different stresses that affect the spine and the nervous system and the body's ability to maintain and return to homeostasis and stay in a state of health and wellness. And so my mission is to support chiropractors now, because my experience was I grew a huge practice, seeing over 1,000 patients a week for almost a decade, seeing big families, health and wellness, cash practice, the whole deal. And I was watching my colleagues really struggling in practice. And then I myself had my own journey of feeling like a slave to my practice, that the practice was so dependent upon me that, it really wasn't a business. It was a job, a really great job. And I was making a big difference in the world, but it wasn't sustainable. Realistically, how long were these shoulders going to hold up this hip? How long was this mind and heart going to stay? So I went on a journey, and I discovered leaving the chiropractic space to find, guidance. And I learned that I needed to become the CEO of my business. And so I transformed my very dependent practice, where I was working 70 plus hours a week, to a sustainable, scalable, just as successful financially and impact business, where I was working 8 hours a week. And so because of that, I realized that this is too good just to keep to myself. I need to be able to teach this to my colleagues. That is why 2 years ago, my dear friend, Dr. Josh Axe, and I partnered, and we launched ChiroCEO, where our vision is to come alongside of practitioners, particularly in the brick and mortar space, to help them to transition as owners into the CEO role, to raise up their levels of leadership on their team and really build a business that's sustainable, scalable, something that's going to be able to stand the test of time, where they can truly leave a legacy, so that the chiropractic doesn't die when we die, but it continues on for generations to come. And so we have to start thinking outside of the box now as chiropractors. We can't just think about ourselves. We have to be thinking about the next generation, our colleagues, our brothers and sister chiropractors, and all the people in our communities that we have to reach. We're only serving a very small percent of the global population, and in America, we're serving a very small percent of the population. One of the statistics I heard is that less than 1% of people that live in America have an existing appointment scheduled at a chiropractor. Now, you may have a lot of people under chiropractic care, but how many are actually booked for an appointment, right? And it's very, very few. You are, exactly. There are a few of us, Jennifer, that we have made chiropractic our lifestyle. But I believe chiropractic is a lifestyle. And so part of the paradigm of ChiroCEO is to start to build a new culture, a new lifestyle in the industry of healthcare that starts with chiropractic. And I think that resonates with many, many chiropractors, because that's what their dream and vision is as well. But we have to come together from the business side, and we have to really embrace what it means as business people. Because Jennifer, what I say is this: if you're a chiropractor who opened a practice, you're not a chiropractor first anymore. You're a business owner first. You're a chiropractor second. And so you have to serve the business first. You have shareholders, you have your customers, you have investors, you have your family, you have yourself. You have to take care of all of those people. And so you're an owner first, and you're a chiropractor second. And if you don't get that right, you're never going to succeed in practice. And I didn't truly succeed in practice until I got that right, because I was serving a lot of people, but at just a moment, it would all be taken from me because I did not structure it to be able to live in spite of me. So I had a very self-serving business, and that was because I didn't really think like a business person. And so I had a dependent practice. And so what I teach chiropractors is how to be able to go on 1, 2, 3 weeks of vacation, 5 weeks of vacation, 6 or whatever, a year, and your practice stays open and everything thrives. You're able to branch out, open new businesses, or just go and start doing other forms of service, or invest in your children or your family or whatever it is, and your business continues to grow and prosper. That's not just for the 1% chiropractor who figures out because they've got really a lot of high acumen business. No, this is for all chiropractor entrepreneurs who really have a heart to serve and have a desire to do even more significant things, but are not willing to sacrifice their lifestyle and their quality of life, right? Because then we become victims, and then we become bitter, and then we spread that across our communities. And then you get a bitter taste, and you get a weird taste in your mouth as a customer coming into that facility. And you wonder, what happened? You used to be so passionate. Now I feel like you're just going through the motions. Hey, a lot of chiropractors used to be passionate, are now going through the motions. Those are the docs that I come alongside and say, hey, let's figure out how to help you scale your business. Let's figure out how to help you integrate things like what you're doing, Dr. Jennifer, into the practices, so that they can, not have to think so much, and they know, like, hey, we're profiting because I've got my ducks in a row. I've got things in order. I've got systems set up that are scalable and sustainable. I've got people in place in leadership roles that are truly equipped and empowered, right? And I have a model that I'm practicing that truly is, it's a winning strategy to win and help the patients and the customers really get great results. So that's what we do. We come alongside. And then from a marketing side, we look at automation. How do you leverage, the modern day ways that we can market to people, but do it in a really healthy and professional way, not like one hit wonder type situation, but really set up a sustainable marketing business within the business, and really grasping what does that look like from an internal and external perspective. How do you empower other people to help you do that, so you don't have to be the marketer, right? Because there's a lot of conversation that we need to have on this subject of becoming a CEO of your business. But it all goes back to the beginning. My brother in the mid-90s was suffering, and he was dying. And because of chiropractic and, functional medicine, natural health care, it transformed and saved his life. I'm now a chiropractor. I now experience great success. And I thought, I can't help more people myself. I'm extremely limited what I can do. So I started to think, how do I reach even more? And I started to realize I have to become a CEO. And then I know other chiropractors want to be able to have greater impact, but not at the sacrifice or the expense of their own life, right? And so there's a more healthy or more excellent way to do business, and that's what we're after, and that's what we're here to partner with chiropractors to do.
So as a partner, you coach, and you have developed a program over several courses and sessions to help support and educate and serve chiropractors. And that's called ChiroCEO. And it's a master class. And we can take that, chiropractors, I can refer to you, and they can go online or talk to you first about enrolling. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the way I love to do it is I love to do a strategy call with the chiropractors. Find out, where they're stuck, where they're, what their goals are, what their vision is, where they are now, the reality of things, and like where they want to be. And I love to figure out like what's going to be the best situation for them, because we have the master class and, that course that we created. Dr. Josh Axe and I created that course. And then we also have our coaching, where I do coaching with them. And we do it in a mastermind setting through Elevate Mastermind. And we offer coaching not only for you, but also for your clinic director. So the key player on your team that really runs the business. We have we come alongside and we coach them, as well as you as a CEO. And we get you in a strong room with other CEOs. And we have amazing contribution coming in from inside and outside the profession, teaching us how to run more successful businesses. That's just for the people that are in our coaching program. So you can do the master class only, or you can level up and go into our coaching program, where you get the class and you get the coaching every week, new trainings. And again, you build a strong community around other CEOs who are really leveling up and scaling up their businesses. And again, learning from people in the industry and outside of the industry who are doing it right and are succeeding, knowing that we're all works in progress and we're all trying to figure it out. So nobody, Jennifer, and you know this as an entrepreneur, hey, nobody's arrived. I don't care who you are. I don't care how successful you are. Any true entrepreneur who sits at the room across from you and interviews with you, if you think however level of success, they're all going to say, we don't have it figured out. And so the reality is we have to humble ourselves, and we have to say, hey, I need help and I need support. And I realize that if I can put myself in a place where I can contribute and receive, then I'm in a really great place. And that's what we provide at ChiroCEO.
That's phenomenal. So I saw on Facebook that you have a lot of presence. You have the website, your communication that you do, even with me, is you make yourself so available to chiropractors and the whole community, whether it be, client-based or on a doctor level. And so I think you bring so much in. So how many years has it been since you've been practicing vitalistic chiropractic care, would you say? Approximately 12 years.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And you're based in South Orange, Florida, but you're originally from New Jersey, right? You're a Jersey boy.
Hey, listen, you got it almost. South Orange, New Jersey is actually where I come from.
Okay.
That's where I was born and raised.
Okay,
South
it sounds
Orange,
like a
New
place
Jersey.
in Florida.
But I'm in Florida now. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
And our coaching program is, we do it through virtually. It's all online. It's really easy. We do get together for some, live events and things and retreats. But but yeah, I'm in Florida now.
Okay, fantastic. We have a lot in common because we share over 600 mutual Facebook friends, chiropractic related. So that is like astonishing. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that before we came on today. I just realized that. So I saw a lot of similarities too because of my vitalistic sort of, inside out, top down philosophy and treating the whole person. And I had studied gerontology and all that. So I've always I remember when I studied public health, they used to call it multifactorial causation. It's very mechanistic. And it just kind of like, not quite right. And I love going to see my chiropractor, and I love the care that I'm getting. And I'm very active. So it keeps people like me feeling very vital for knowing that I'm going to be able to be healthy for a long time. So I can tell you that I'm such a proponent of chiropractic care. Now, there's so much I need to learn from you. Would I have your permission to have you on again sometime to learn more from you, Dr. Pete, about ChiroCEO?
Absolutely, Jennifer. I would love that. Let's do it.
Okay, well, thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And I will post how to be in touch with Dr. Pete and ChiroCEO. And thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care.